Good afternoon, my beautiful people. Happy Sunday. I am glad to be live again with you all for Sucker Free Sunday. And as you all know, for those who have been with me for a while, when I introduced my schedule about how the recordings will go, Sundays is Sucker Free Sundays, and that's what today is. But let me say this, which is my disclaimer, because I know some people get caught up in their feelings and they don't really listen to what is being said. They just get emotional. That just because it's Sucker Free Sunday, it doesn't mean that I am not giving respect to the dead. It doesn't mean that I'm dishonoring the dead. It doesn't mean any of that. It also does not mean that the sucker is the dead. Sucker Free Sundays is about how we can guard ourselves so that we don't put ourselves in situations that will lead to unnecessary consequences or that might lead to our death, our harm, or whatever you have. So today I have three case examples I want to go over with you all before I begin the topic. The case examples I'm going to be speaking on today, these are some headliners that are in the news. So I want you all to be aware of these stories so that you can understand what I'm going to be speaking about. I'm going to talk a little bit about the masked man who went into a ranchito, a taqueria, with a gun, which we later found out was not a real gun, but he lost his life in the process. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a 65-year-old grandmother who was attacked inside of a store by three employees over a $50 bill. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about, unfortunately, I'm sad that she lost her life, but we're going to talk about Devonna Walker out of Cedar Rapids, who had lost her life due to a stabbing. We're going to talk about those three stories, but I want to be able to create the framework and put everything into perspective for you all so that you can know what to expect for today. And here's another disclaimer I have for you all. Some of you are not going to like what I'm going to say, and that is okay. What I say then, and I'm saying now, is we have to be able to listen to other people's perspective, not in a not to change your perspective per se, but so we can see things from multiple angles. So with that being said, you all are not you all, some of you all are not going to like what I am going to say. I am going to take a different perspective. I'm just telling you the truth. It will be a different perspective and it's going to make some people feel some kind of way. But if you can sit in your discomfort for a little bit, if you can listen to what I have to say and analyze it with a critical lens, critical thinking is key, then maybe we can have a great conversation in the chat, right? So, to my moderators, y'all get ready. We're going to allow people to have their feelings and their emotions, but we're not going to allow people to attack or attempt to disrupt and hit below the belt. So if that is going to be the case, we're going to block them because this is going to be an emotionally triggering conversation. Now that I have that out the way, let me go ahead and say good afternoon to all of you all. I see somebody saying, "Hey, my Aquarius mom. Hi, lovely. How are you?" And yes, I am an Aquarius sun, Sagittarius moon. So my language might be a little bit abrasive, and a Capricorn Mercury. My language might be a little bit abrupt and abrasive some people, okay? I take it by now because it is Sunday, you all have already went to church and have gotten your biblical food. And that is good because today I'm gonna give y'all some earthly food that you need to take and couple with your biblical food because your pastors ain't gonna keep your asses alive. I am. If that says, if y'all know what I mean. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So I already gave you guys the stories for today. We're going to talk about the pack mentality. So that is the topic for today. Get your pen and paper, y'all, because it's teaching time. We are going to talk about the pack mentality. I need you all to get your pen and paper because you have to understand what we are up against. In order for you all to stay alive, you have to stay alert, Write that down. Somebody write that down. In order for you to stay alive, you have to stay alert. The weaker links among us in our family units, the weaker links among us typically are oblivious and distracted. And usually they're oblivious to what is going on around them or distracted because of their toxic belief systems, because of their beliefs and how they think. Whether their belief is nobody's going to do anything to me, whether their belief is, the Lord orders my steps. And I'm not saying that the Lord don't. Okay, so I don't want y'all Christians to come at me. I'm not saying that the Lord does not order your steps or our steps. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying to you is when you take things out of context, you will disarm yourself. And as a result, you will become the weaker link. So I don't know who Mel Swan is, but we're going to go ahead and get rid of Mel because Mel is clearly not used to this commentary, and Mel is usually not logged on, so Mel don't know who we are. Okay, so Mel is going to get blocked. So if anybody see Mel making comments, go ahead and block that user and get that person out of here. For everybody else who knows how I operate, y'all just go ahead, sit, listen, get your pen and paper, right? Back to the weaker link. Usually your belief system will work to disarm you. You will not understand what is happening around you. You will not understand how this world is operating, how evolution is changing, how we are starting to respond to each other. You will not understand what is happening. And as long as you are the weaker link, you leave yourself susceptible to attack. Y'all get what I'm saying so far? You guys have to understand that when it comes to our family units, our structures, and how we move, there requires strategy from a leader. Or should I say, this requires strategy from leadership. Now, when I say leadership, I'm not talking about, Black leaders in the community telling you what to do. I'm not speaking of that. I'm speaking downright to your own family units, because every case example I'm going to go over today has to deal with your family unit. Every case example. If we can't get it together in our family, among our family units, we're not going to be able to get it together as a community. If you don't have leadership in your family units, you are in trouble. Listen to what I'm saying. You are in trouble. Leadership is only possible when there are three things. Y'all write this down. Leadership is only possible when there are three things. Number one, critical thinking. Number two, when your fear and your anxiety is controlled. Now, let me break that down for just a second. When I say when your fear and your anxiety is controlled, some people may not understand that because that might be a little bit too clinical, and I'm not trying to be clinical. Y'all know I talk to you guys in layman's terms, regular language. I'm trying to take the clinician out of me so I can talk to my community. But I'm going to say it in a language that I know y'all going to understand. If you don't have anger management, if you do not have anger management, you are in trouble, because leadership requires anger management. And the third thing is aggression. Aggression is normal, people. Aggression is going to happen. We're part of the animal kingdom, whether people like to think so or not. We are part of the animal kingdom. Aggression is going to happen. However, when your aggression is not strategic, you are in trouble. Let me put that to you another way. When you allow yourself to become so angry and it is not managed, that your aggression takes over and you are not able to see the players around you, you are not able to see what kind of community you are walking into, what kind of situation you are walking into, who are the players around you that is a part of the situation you are walking into. When you are not able to pay attention strategically, and you allow your aggression to take over you and you start acting out, you are in trouble. Y'all hearing me today? When it comes to your family unit, I need y'all to listen to me. When it comes to your family unit, it is critical, of the utmost importance, that you all are selecting and breeding with the right ones. Ooh, y'all didn't hear me. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. When you are selecting and breeding with weaker links, you are in trouble. When you are selecting mates and breeding with mates, I don't care if you are a male or a female, when you are selecting mates and breeding with mates who cannot control their anger, you are in trouble. When you are having babies, getting married to, entering relationships with people who lack leadership skills and abilities, you are in trouble. When you are breeding with people who do not have a mindset of survival, you are in trouble. You have to understand this when it comes to your family unit. Your pack members, the members of your pack, the members of your family is key to your survival. I'm going to let y'all sit on that for just a second. I want y'all to think about that for just a second. I'm going to say it one more time because I need y'all to think about it. When you are building a family unit, it is critical for you to understand that your pack members, the people who are in your family, are key to your survival. Sit on that for a second. Survival depends on the pack. Survival depends on the pack. I want y'all to understand that. Who are the members in your pack? Who are the people who are there to guide you, to educate you, to protect you, to help you raise the younger members of the pack? Who are the people? I want to break down some lessons, family, that I learned from African wild dogs. Now, I want to be able to say this. I know a lot of y'all like to talk about, oh, well, I'm a lion. I'm an alpha. Oh, I'm an alpha. Oh, I'm a lion. Oh, I'm a wolf. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And so a lot of these animals, and I see why people want to align themselves with these animals, right? A lot of these animals, they have packs or prides, right? A lot of them do have an alpha, they have a leader, they have strategy. A lot of that stuff happens. But I want to show you something when it comes to the African wild dogs. They're also known as the painted wolf. Okay. When I studied this animal, what I learned from this animal is a few things. They are very skillful, believe it or not. On their own, they may be vulnerable. On their own, they may be subjected to harm. But when they are in a pack, African wild dogs are very, very skillful. There is always, I need y'all to pay attention to the word always. There is always an alpha female and an alpha male who are together, who operate together, and they lead the pack strategically together. They are organized. They are disciplined. Y'all hear what I'm saying? I don't want you to think about what I'm saying and tying it to just the African wild dogs. I want you to think about what I'm saying and analyze it with respect to your pack, with respect to your family, with respect to your unit, with respect to your children, with respect to your mate. They are organized. They are disciplined. An extended family is part of the pack. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Extended family are part of the pack. They stay in communication with each other. No one makes a move without the other one knowing. And no one makes a move by themselves. They socialize with their own. They do not mix with others. They socialize with their own. They provide childcare for their own. The male is monogamous with his mate, and he protects the female always, even when they are asleep. And they hardly, as a unit, as a family, as a species, they hardly fight one another. Do y'all hear me? Other prides and other packs will fight each other. A wolf will fight other wolves because they're territorial. A lion will fight other lions because they're territorial. Hyenas will fight other hyenas because they are territorial. But the African wild dog does not fight their own. They're strategic. And as a predator, they are formidable, meaning they are dangerous when they operate in a pack. How does this all apply to family units? All right, somebody said Doc Mel is back. Okay, I don't see him on my feed. Somebody said he's back. I understand if I see him on my feed, then I'll go ahead and block him. But as long as Mel is learning how to be respectful, we're going to let him be. But you don't come into this classroom and act disrespectfully, because that is not the kind of community we are a part of. We respect the opinions of others, and we don't try to tell people how to run their shows. So Mel, be respectful. How does this all apply to family units? I would love for you guys to sit on that question for just a second. How does what I'm talking about when it comes to the African wild dog, how does this apply to our family units? Sit on that for just a second. How does it apply? How does it apply to our family units? Go ahead and like and subscribe to this page. If you are on Facebook, go ahead and follow the Facebook page and like this page. You got to do both, like and follow. If you are on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, interact in the chat member, in the chat part of the screen. Let me tell you this, how it applies to our family units. First and foremost, you have to start by recognizing the children in your family unit are the future of your pack. Listen to what I'm saying. The children in your family unit are the future of your pack. And the leader must take care of them. The stories that I'm about to go over to y'all, the case studies that I am about to go over with you all will all put this into perspective. And that's why I said you have to have a pen and paper, because you need to be able to connect all the dots back to this lesson before we get into the case examples. So I suspect some of y'all not writing things down. So I'm going to repeat those two things again, and I'm going to keep it moving, because I really need you all to write this stuff down, because this is Sucker Free Sunday. Y'all want to stay alive and y'all want to stay sucker free. You need to start getting the knowledge that's going to help you to stay sucker free. So I'm going to start over again with the family units. This applies to our family units by us understanding these things. Children are the future of our pack. Children are the future of our pack. The leader must take care of the children. Here's what I mean by that. The leader must take care of the children. The parents of the children, mom and dad, some situations there are mom and mom, dad and dad, whatever. I'm not going to get into the dynamics of that. I'm usually speaking to heterosexual families, okay? But if you're not in a heterosexual family, cool, no problem. Apply the information, adjust it as such. My language is for heterosexual families. Let's make that very clear. But the leader must take care of them. That includes the mom and the dad. There has to be a structure between the mom and dad. The leader must provide security for the pack. The leader must provide security for the pack. The leader must provide basic needs for the pack. What are the basic needs? Food, shelter, clothing, education, healthcare, you name it. Those are the basic needs. The leader is responsible for providing the basic needs of the pack. External threats are handled by the strongest. Listen to what I just said. External threats are handled by the strongest. You may ask, well, who is the strongest? You may ask, who is the strongest in the pack? Now, if I'm a mama and I'm leading my home by myself, I am the strongest. That is a negative. Whoop! I know some people are going to be in their bag today, but that's okay. That's okay. We could talk about it. We can talk about it. I know y'all going to feel some kind of way. That's okay. But that is a negative. You're not the strongest. I'm not saying that you aren't strong, but you are not the strongest. So I know some of y'all saying, well, how not? If I'm the only person in the pack, then I'm the strongest. No, we're going to talk about why you are the only person in the pack. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but you're not the strongest. See, a pack that is intact, the strongest is usually the person who is more resourceful, more equipped. And that person usually works with the leader of the pack. I never said when it comes to external threats, the leader of the pack handles it. Can the leader of the pack handle it? Yeah, the leader of the pack can handle it, but it's usually handled by the strongest in conjunction with the leader. I know some of y'all ain't getting this, but that's okay. Let me tell you something. When I say the strongest, the person who's most resourceful, the person that is strategic, the person that can think quick is usually the strongest person. That could be an uncle, that could be the dad, it could be a brother, it could be a cousin, it could be a best friend. You got to think about, if you are in a situation, if your family is in a situation where danger is approaching, who is your first contact before you start responding out of your emotions? Who is your first contact so you can make sure you have a backup? Who? A lot of situations when people get caught out in sucker situations is because they don't have a strategy. They don't have a backup. You understand what I'm saying? External threats are real, and you never know when you're going to find yourself in a life-threatening situation, and you have to be able to ascertain and assess what the threat is before your life is at stake, before there is a gun pointing to your face or a knife in your chest. Before that stuff happens, you have to be able to analyze and assess what kind of danger you are in. And that's why I say the strongest person is usually the person that strategizes that stuff. Who is the person that you can call to and say, let me run something by you? That person that can see things from multiple angles, angles that you can't see things from before you make a move. Who is that person? See, the reason why I said a lot of women who are raising their own children, they may feel like, well, I am the strongest. And I say, no, you're not. The reason why I say it is because your job is to secure the children. Your job is to make sure the children are safe. And children typically don't know what's going on around them. Y'all may think that they're smart. Y'all may think that they know what's going on, and they may know some things, but children can't strategize to keep you alive. Your job is to keep your children alive, not your children to keep you alive. You understand what I'm trying to say? So no, mom, if you busy raising the children, how you also out there fighting wars? If you out there fighting a war, who's at home with your children? Who's making sure they're safe and they're not under attack? Who's going to make sure their basic needs are met? Who's going to make sure they eat? If you out there fighting everybody in the world, mom, who's guarding the children? When it comes to external threats that need to be handled by strategy, every member in the family must play a specific role. For example, older children are guardians. They act as guardians. They don't replace the mama. They don't replace the daddy. They act as guardians of the younger members in the family, because sometimes mom and dad got to move and shake and make sure everyone eat. So those younger children have to act as guardians, but those younger children must be respectful and submissive to their mothers. Another thing, y'all, let me know if you need me to repeat anything, but another thing is family units must have order. This is all going to make sense when I go over these case studies, y'all. So I hope you're listening in. But family units must have order. Must have order. Family units, when you have order, you reflect a family unit that lives peacefully among each other and do not fight one another. I know some of y'all didn't catch that one, but I'm going to let that sit for a second. And then I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to let that sit, and then I'm going to repeat it. Y'all caught that? You got it? You got it? Because I don't need to be a part of some of these lives that I see as these case examples that I'm going to go over with you guys. I don't need to be a part of their families to see how it operates. I'm just being honest with y'all. See, this is what we do when we're clinicians. We sit back, we analyze, we assess, we watch, we determine the movements. That's what critical thinking looks like. We look at all the players, all the key factors, and we determine them. We see what doesn't make sense. We watch for patterns. And I'm telling y'all right now that in order for order to be there, you guys must be able to live peacefully. So Mila is asking, is order self-obtained? No. Order is a hierarchy that is already in existence. It is a natural divine hierarchy that is in existence. The problem is, and we're going to get into this in a moment, but I'm going to say this quickly to answer your question. It cannot be self-obtained. The problem is, some of our families are so out of order that they no longer respect order because the abnormality has become their norm. And they respect what is abnormal. They respect what is disordered. And they think what is disordered is actually right. So they don't respect the order anymore. So they won't go back in order. And that is what's happening among our families and our community. We are out of order. A lot of people ain't gonna like this. I get it. And I respect that. But in order for your family units to have order, you must be able to live peacefully. That means no fighting. You cannot fight each other, because if you guys are at war with each other, how do you protect yourself from external threats? It's a question I'm asking. If you are at war with each other, how do you protect the family from external threats? It is a question I'm asking. I'm going to say it one more time because I need y'all to really hear this. I need it to resonate with you all. I need you guys to question it. If you guys are not living in peace among each other and you guys are at each other's throats, fighting one another, gossiping about one another, not helping each other raise their children, all this stuff. If that's all going on and there is no order or peace in your family unit, how can you protect each other from external threats? In order for you to have a family unit that works in unison to ward off external threats, you have to follow a hierarchy. You have to follow a hierarchy. And those who are not able to follow or respect the hierarchy has to leave the pack. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Oh, y'all didn't catch that. I'm going to break that down in layman's term. Let me just speak to Iris and X. She said, raising my hand, but the most important key ingredient is communication between everyone, in my opinion. You are absolutely right. We're going to get into that, right? Some people have unruly, disrespectful, rogue members in their family, and they don't kick them out the pack. They don't kick them out the family. That person brings disruption. That person brings strife. That person interrupts peace. That person does not respect hierarchy. That person does not respect elders. They do not think there is an order. They are out of order, and no one makes them leave the pack. And every day in their family units are disrupted, and it breaks down a peace among other people where people don't want to live there anymore. And as the younger members, who are the future of the pack, as the younger members grow older and they're around all that strife and tension and chaos and negativity, they eventually leave the pack and they say, my family is dysfunctional. My family is crazy. I don't want to be a part of it. So then they go rogue or they go alone. They are by themselves because we could not demonstrate for the younger of our generation what order and hierarchy looks like. Those who cannot respect rank, those who do not follow a hierarchy must leave. Each obedient member is entitled to protection. I'm going to say that again. Each obedient member of the family is entitled to protection. What I mean by that, we gotta protect those members of our family who are obedient, who are in structure, who respects hierarchy. We gotta be able to protect them. And that's how we build a unit, and that's how we move in unison, and that's how we protect our youth. But our family, some of our families are out of order. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. Some of our family are out of order. And this is what's leading to the problems that puts us in situations to become victims. This is Sucker Free Sunday. This is no disrespect to the victims who have lost their life, but this is teaching people how not to become a victim. If you are blessed to still be on this side of the dirt, you have an opportunity to change the way you're operating. You have an opportunity to change the way you're thinking. You have an opportunity to change the way you handle external threats so that you and your children will not become a victim. But so many of us, we are out of order. Pen and paper, y'all. Here's how we out of order. All right. Our family structures are broken. And we don't really like to hear about this, right? Because it makes some of us feel some kind of way because we demonstrate broken family structures too. So it makes us feel some kind of way to hear about it. But the truth is, our family structures are broken. Our protective senses are weakened. We have allowed emotions to take over. We have allowed belief systems that do not serve to protect us to take over. We have allowed indoctrination to let our guard down, to trust others, or to think that we are invincible. Whatever you want to have it, it has taken over. But nonetheless, our protective senses are weakened. Mothers are left without protection. Even if her relationship has not survived, that is no excuse for that mother who are raising those cubs to be left without protection. I got another conversation to say about that, but I'm going to hold that to later because I don't want to derail the conversation. I know that some mothers who are without protection may not be able to understand the position in which I'm coming from, and they may get in their feelings and start attacking, right? And we don't want that to happen because that's not my intent. But we have to face the truth for what the truth is. There are a lot of mothers, and I'll say this quickly and I'm moving on, who are left without protection, and their behaviors and their mentality and their mindset don't allow them to be protected. What am I talking about? Let me digress for just a second. Because I know some of y'all like, okay, don't go there, Dr. Shonna, but Dr. Shonna's going to go there. When I say that some of their behaviors, their mindsets, or mentality, right? Their belief systems, some of them leave them unprotected. What do y'all think happens to a lioness? A lioness that's left without protection. She got her cubs to raise. What do you think happens? Think about that for a second. What happens to a lioness? We're going to go back to the animal kingdom for just a second. What happens to a lioness who is left without protection for whatever reason? Maybe the leader of her pride was killed. Maybe who knows, right? It doesn't matter. Maybe she was kicked out. I don't know. But what happens? What happens to that lioness when she is left without protection? So we already know that a lioness can hunt. She is the one who gets the food to bring back to the pride. Not that a lion cannot hunt, but we already know that the females are typically the hunters. The females usually go out in that pride, they bring the food. We already know she knows how to do that. But when she becomes a mother, her job is to take care of the children. Her job is now to protect and provide for the children. That's what her job is to do. And that's why there's so many females in the pride, because they help each other raise the young, because the children are the future. But when she is on her own, a smart lioness, when there is no leader, will move on her own and do the best she can to protect her pride, the best she can. Or, and the reason why I say that is because usually when the pride is taken over and a new lion comes into that pack to take over, maybe he killed off the alpha and he comes into that pack, he will kill all the young. You see, when we have paramours killing their girlfriend's children, y'all think we're not part of the animal kingdom? No, baby, we are part of the animal kingdom. We're supposed to be more civilized and higher in our thinking, but when you look at the raw behaviors of people, we reflect the animal kingdom all the time. The shorty that gets with the dude who feels some kind of way about the kid kills that baby or harms that baby, right? Because that's what lions do when they take over a pride. When they take over a pride, which consists of the female and the cubs, when they take over the pride, they kill them kids. So the female who's wise and say, I'm going to protect my children, she leaves that pride with her children on her own. And she says, you know what? I'm going to have to do what I have to do to make sure my kids are safe. And she tries her very best to do so. She doesn't join with another man necessarily, or another lion necessarily. She doesn't do that because she knows joining with him puts her children at risk, but she's left out there on her own. And she knows her children can be eaten up real quick. And if her children get eaten up, she has to find another lion, because then she's next to be eaten up. You understand what I'm trying to say? But a pride that's intact the right way, if the leader dies off for whatever reason, maybe he got old, maybe he got injured in the battle and he died off, it doesn't matter. There are usually other male lions that are second in command that would kick in and take care of the pride. So when I say that some women are out there and they have the mindset, the mentality, or the behavior that does not allow them the protection, is because they feel they don't need it. That lioness that's on her own, she knows she's at great risk of her children getting killed or she getting killed by herself. She knows that. The goal is always to be protected. So when I say we are out of order and mothers are without protection, I mean that. Even in our family units, when mothers are without protection, she cannot be the superhero. She cannot be the villain. She cannot be all these things, and she got children, because the children are the future. So what does she do when there is nobody to guard her or protect her? You got to really start thinking about this for a second, because it's all going to tie into the case examples I'm going to give you. Here's another reason why we are out of order. Aggression without skill and strategy is dangerous. Y'all hear what I'm saying, y'all? Aggression without skill and strategy is dangerous. Let that sit in for a second. If you're going to be aggressive and you don't know how to tactfully use that, you're in trouble. If you're going to be aggressive and you're going to go out there and you're going to fight every waking battle and you don't have any strategy, you are in trouble. We are out of order as a community. We also have herd behavior in our community that makes us out of order. Herd behavior. About to wrap this up and get into my case examples. I'm not going to stay long on the case examples because this is the meat and the potatoes right here. The case examples is just to tie everything into perspective for you guys so you can understand how we are out of order. But herd behavior, if you really think about it, when herd behavior is, right? Her behavior is when a situation pops off, everybody scatters, everybody runs, nobody has direction, nobody has a strategy, nobody knows how to arm themselves against attacks. They're just trying to get away from danger and run to safety and just pray that they stay alive. That's what herd behavior does. Everyone just scatters, no plan, no focus, no strategy. In our community, that's what we have. We have a lot of herd behavior. Yes, Mila says chaos, pure chaos, chaos. When their little oblivious world gets interrupted, they just flee. When a fight breaks out, they just flee. They're not trying to protect. They're not trying to strategize. They're not trying to bring down a killer. They're not trying to do any of that. They're not trying to band together to ward off predators. They're not trying to do any of that. They just fleeing. Right? We have rogue members in our family units that make us out of order. Rogue members, those are members that no longer follow order. They don't follow hierarchy. They're just a danger to themselves and others. They're just out of control. We have rogue members that go against universal laws. They don't think that they will get in trouble. They think they are invincible. They are dangerous members of our families. It is a lot of them. They're aggressive for no reason. They have no strategy. They don't even know how to protect themselves, but they just got a lot of mouth that leads them to get into trouble. Rogue members is when they act like they don't have to be a part of the family unit and every man to himself. They're not going to do anything above and beyond what they don't want to do. Rogue members. Rogue members. We have people in our community or in our family units that despise order and they despise rank. If they feel like you have too much power, they want to get rid of your power. We got grandkids killing grandmamas, daughters killing mothers, and sons killing fathers. They despise rank. They despise order. They are out of control. Another thing that hurts our community is we have become nomadic. And when you are nomadic, sort of like that lone wolf, everyone wants to be the lone wolf, but you ain't even a wolf. You like a lone gazelle, right? You like a lone zebra, a lone calf, a lone cow. That's what some of us are. And we think it's cool to be nomadic. I'm by myself. I walk alone. I don't need nobody. I got this by myself. This is the mindset. This is the mindset that a lot of us have. And when you are nomadic, you raise your risk to attacks. When people see that you don't have the necessary protection around you, when you don't have a strong family structure or system around you, when people see that you fighting every battle by yourself, you are at risk. You are at stake. You are a target. We are open to more skillful predators when we are rogue, when we despise order and rank, when we are out of order, when we have broken family structures, when we leave our women unprotected, when we leave our mothers unprotected, we are open to more skillful predators. When we are in this kind of situation, when we are not a part of a system that is meant to protect you from external threats, we attack packs when we are alone. You hear what I'm trying to say? Because we feel that we big and bad. Y'all didn't catch that last one. We're going to get into the case studies. I'm going to say that last one again, and we're going to get into the case status. I said we attack packs. Listen to what I'm saying. We attack packs when we are alone. Do you know how dangerous it is for you to attack a pack when you are alone. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? I know there's times when you are going to be alone and you are facing a threat and you're going to react because the protection of you or your cub depends on it. I understand that. But you also have to stop and think, I am alone. I got to get immediate safety of my cub. And then I got to think about my safety. This is how serious life is. And this is how quick your life can be lost. Do you understand me? This is how serious your life can be lost. So let's get into these case examples. Y'all ready for this? Y'all got that so far? Do y'all have that so far? Right? Let's get into the case examples. We are going to first talk about this old boy right here. Y'all heard about this story? First case example. This is a masked man who went into a taqueria or a ranchito. He went into this Hispanic restaurant, Latino restaurant, with what was believed to be a gun. Later on, they found out it was not a gun, but he went in there to rob the customers. He went in there pointing this fake gun that looked real. There was no orange tip to it, right? He went in there and he made the customers give him their money. And what he didn't know, unfortunately, was there was an armed customer in the store with him. And this armed customer also gave this man his money. And as the man is heading toward the door, after he robbed the people eating peacefully in a restaurant, he's a lone wolf. He is a rogue. He is a rogue lone wolf. As he was leaving the restaurant, this armed customer popped him 8 times. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Popped him 8 times. And then when he was leaving the restaurant, when he discovered that this joker had a toy gun, he popped his ass one more time in the head. The armed customer took the money back from this guy and gave the money back to everybody that he stuck up, that he robbed, and this guy died. When I tell you all we are out of order, I'm telling you all we are out of order. When I tell you guys aggression that is not managed will get you in trouble, I'm telling you guys exactly that. When I tell you that we have lost our way, I'm telling you that. I mean that. This guy lost his life robbing people. He has, I'm not going to get into his criminal history because you know he got one. I'm not going to get into his criminal history. But he has a history of rogue behavior that also includes armed robbery. And after the fact, mama comes on TV and mama is speaking out against what happened. Mama is saying she tried to work with her son. She tried to get him to do right. He was out on bond or bail or whatever. He had just got out into his trial date for another armed robbery. And she said she understands that he wasn't doing right. She was trying to get him to do right. But the shooter did not have to shoot him 9 times. The shooter did not have to do her son like that. The shooter could have respected his body. He was already dead. Why did he have to shoot him 9 times? That was not right. That's what mama said. That's what mama said. Family, when you are going against universal laws, you cannot expect, you cannot expect universal laws to now protect you. Doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. When you go into a store or into a home, into a park, wherever, terrorizing people, robbing people, scaring people for their dead goddamn lives. When you go and doing that, you cannot expect people to respect your dead body. No one is going to know your background story. No one's going to know how hard your family has been praying for you. Nobody's going to know you went to church just yesterday. Ain't nobody going to know that when you break universal laws and you go in and you terrorize people with guns and now you want to cry and ask for a body to be. It does not work that way. If you hold a gun to my head and I get an opportunity to pop your ass when you turn around, I am going to unload my clip into you. I'm just going to let you know that. Rogue members do not get protection of the pack. Rogue members do not get protection of the pack. Obedient members get protection of the pack. Period. You cannot rob people. You cannot terrorize people. You cannot go against universal law. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. And I don't understand what is happening with the mindset of some members in our community when they want to argue against everything. You cannot do that. You cannot. You cannot. I tell you that stuff all the time. The last video I did, I asked you guys to think about 2 questions every day when you leave your house. Question number 1 is, do I like my freedom? Do I like my freedom? And do I want it? Question number 2 is, do I want to be a victim today? Two questions. 2 questions. Period. I already told you guys that I'm going to say some things that's going to make people get into their feelings, and I'm going to say some things that other people may not be saying, and I'm okay with that. We have to have critical thinking. We have to understand that we are out of order. And how we get back into order is having these kind of conversations so we can understand how we got here in the first place. So I know that was a very emotional one, right? Let me give y'all a lighter story for today. A lighter case example. We're going to talk about this situation right here. Have y'all heard about this situation? This is a 65-year-old grandmother who was attacked in a store after she found a $50 bill. According to her interview on Fox 26, she stated that when she walked into the store, there was a $50 bill on the floor. And she got excited and she announced, I need to underline the word announce. For all my Virgos out there who are skillful and organized, you can go ahead and underline it and highlight the word announce, right? You could break down the definition, the organized Virgos, but I need y'all to emphasize and pay attention to the word announce. She announced she found a $50 bill. And when she made that announcement, she said, it must be my lucky day. Something to that effect. I found $50. And she picked it up. The minute she said that, this woman placed herself in a position to be attacked by a pack. She was lone, meaning alone, without protection, and went inside of a store and announced that she found $50 and today was her lucky day. Well, today was not her lucky day. It wasn't her lucky day. Because this woman was greeted by, and I mean, I'm being facetious when I say greeted, but she was greeted by the workers of that store, Liederman's. I think the name of the store was Liederman's, if I'm not mistaken. And the young lady got behind her, choked her up. Another one snatched a $50 bill, telling her that she has to give her the money because her friend was in the store earlier and he may have, for all my Virgos, go ahead and underline the word may have, circle it and highlight it. He may have dropped that $50 bill. Not only did they hem her up and put it in a chokehold, but they locked the door, preventing her to leave. Now, I know you're wondering, well, how does this have to do with what we just learned about the pack mentality and how our families are out of order? Well, I'm going to tell you. This is Granny. She got her wig on here. She ain't have her wig on in the video, but that's her. It's the same person. That's not a guy. The video with the pack. We're going to call them the pack. The video with the pack on her. She's without a wig. So that is her. Same lady. So the lady tells us when she was attacked by the pack, see, she went into territory alone. And not that she was necessarily alone, family. Her adult son, who has a disability, so he was not able, he's a special needs son. He was not able to come into the store with her, but her granddaughter was in the store too. In the car as well. She was in the car. And this woman states that she was so nervous, she thought something was going to happen to her, that she called her granddaughter, who was in the car with her uncle who has special needs, while grandma went into the store to buy a honey bun and ice cream for her son that has special needs when she found that $50. Now, why do y'all think I'm telling y'all this story? Why do you think I'm including this story in my teachings? Think about it for just a second. Grandma, because I want to see where my protectors are at. Grandma goes into the store with the intentions of buying ice cream and a honey bun for her adult son who has special needs, leaving her adult son in the car as well as her granddaughter. Right? And she goes into the store. She goes into the pack. She went into territory that is not her own. She went into territory that is not her own. Right? Found $50, announced it, became susceptible or vulnerable to attack. By the time she called her granddaughter and said, come help me, these people got me locked in here, hemmed up. Right? That's right, Rashid, but you got to tell me more than that, Rashid. Right? You got to tell me more than that. She called her granddaughter And her granddaughter comes to her rescue, but the door is locked. Granddaughter is banging on the door. She's trying to get them to get in so she can protect her grandmother. Right? Banging on the door. By then, one of the store clerks had called the police. Now, grandma says the person, she made a phone call to a police officer she knows personally. That could have been the case. I don't know. I wasn't there. And somebody else says that the 911 was called and the sheriff showed up. I think the sheriff knew them, but that's neither here or there. I'm not going to speculate. But what I do know is when the sheriffs got there, obviously the store people had to unlock the door for the sheriff. And then the granddaughter got detained by the sheriff because she allegedly pushed or attacked the store clerk. Now we know she was upset. She was angry. You yoked up her grandmother. You held her in the store. She's going to be angry. Then her mother gets called. Her mother gets there, and allegedly she was detained too for going off. Now, I don't know. I don't know if there was any other blacks in the store. I don't know, right? But here's what I'm saying to you guys. The reason I'm asking this question. I don't know if anybody said it. I didn't see anyone saying it, right? No, nobody said it. But let me tell you why I'm using this story. So this person is close. You're close, Anton, but no cigar. This person says the same thing you said, Anton, right? This person is in the same situation as you. Y'all close, but no cigar. One person, here's the protector in the group, and it's a woman, right? Ashanti asked the most critical questions that y'all should have been asking. Why didn't the girl go in? There you go. There you go. Why didn't the girl go in? Why didn't the daughter, the granddaughter, go into the store? Grandma, 65 years old. Remember what I'm telling y'all. We have to protect our elders. We have to protect our elders. Granny says, I gotta go get my baby some ice cream and a honey bun. I'm not gonna be telling y'all shouldn't be eating ice cream and honey buns. No way, but that's not the here or there. But grandma said, I'm gonna go get my son an ice cream and a honey bun. What appears to be an adult granddaughter, now she could be 17, I don't know, but what appears to be an adult granddaughter, she should have said, grandmama, go in. You know why? Because the young are agile, the young are quicker with their mind, the young has a little bit more strength and force. There are things that can happen. A young can go in if her mind is right and scan an environment quickly and know how to move. The young is a little bit more. Agility is important, y'all. Physical agility and mental agility. Agility is important. My grandmother's not going into a store. But that's just the hierarchy of my family unit. She ain't going into the store. What is it you need? Okay. All right, give me the list. I'm going to go get it. Even so, Addie said the girl was at home. Grandmother called her, and that's why she had a robe. Even so, this is what I mean when I say the thought process in our families have to change. It has to change. It has to change. My grandmother is not going into a store. This is the wilderness. Our country has turned into the wild, wild west. And there are some of us with targets on our back. And this is the mindset that we must have all the time. Whether she had to get the bus there, the cab there, or she was in the car. What I'm saying to you is communication, such as the person said earlier, I think it was Robin, if I'm not mistaken. Robin, let me know if it was you. But communication, maybe it wasn't Robin, maybe it was Iris. Iris said it, Iris X. I think it was Iris X. Communication is important. Yes, Serafina, it is a jungle out there. It is not safe out there. And we have to have that mindset all the time. Not some of the time, but all the time. We have to have that mindset. And communication means that we're telling each other what we're doing in our movement so we can strategize and organize together. See, if you are in a well-organized pack, you should not be taken back by communication. You shouldn't feel any kind of way telling the members of your family what's on your agenda, where you're going, what you're doing, including your husband, including your wives. You should not be afraid to do that. When you have the survival mindset, you have to look at all the key factors in place and plan your day accordingly. A grandma with a son that has special needs is vulnerable to packs. People roam in packs. People roam in packs. And this grandmother said on the news that she has lived there 47 years and the community hasn't changed. That's still how it is. So we know what kind of community we live within. We know what kind of rules they have that's different than the rules that we have. We know that their mentality is very dangerous for us. Why would we roll alone? Why would we roll alone? We cannot afford that in our community. I'm telling you all not to criticize the grandmother, the daughter, the family. I want them to get the justice that they are due. Trust me when I say that. I want them to get the justice that they are due. But we cannot continue to look at stories like, oh, woe is them. I'm sorry this happened to them. My life is different. We cannot continue to look at the stories in our community that way. We need to look at it and say, oh, shoot, I never even thought about that. That can happen to me, and be able to plan accordingly. See, when you roam inside a well-organized pack, communication includes us letting each other know what is expected. See, this is Queen Lioness. No one is blaming the victim. And that's the problem that I have with some people in our community. They always see things as blaming the community. But what do you think happens when an incident happens and people now look at an incident and they take away, deduct from the incident so they can try to understand how can we prevent this in the future? See, a lot of us are firefighters. We like putting out fires. That's not good enough in our community anymore. We have to be fire prevention people. We have to prevent them from happening. This is not about blaming the victim. This is about learning from someone's story so that you won't be a victim. That's what it's about. Change the way you're thinking. Start to see things from a different lens. This has nothing to do with blaming the grandmother whatsoever. This is about when we leave our house, what is our strategy? Are we alone? And if we are alone, what is our protection? Where are we going? Are we going into communities or into situations, environments where we are unsafe, where something is liable to pop off? If you know your behind is going into Walmart and you know nuttiness happens in Walmart all the time, why would you not have a strategy for going into that jungle? Why would you not have somebody to watch your front and your back when you're going into that kind of environment? If you know you live in a community that is filled with some rednecks that hate people that have melanin in their skin, why would you go into that community by yourself? That's really what it's about. It ain't about blaming no victim. The victim is a victim. It already happened. It's about knowing, all right, I see this situation. I can analyze the situation. I see what went wrong. I see how I can analyze my own situations and strategize so that won't happen to my family and I. That's what it is about. Right? That's what it's about. The last story. This is a sad story. This is a sad story that I'm about to put up on the screen. The last case example, and it's sad. But just like I say to you guys all the time, all the time, Sucker Free Sunday isn't about blaming the victims. It's not. It's about prevention. Now that we have the facts, this is what happened. This is what we see that happen. How can we prevent that from happening again? That's what Sucker Free Sunday is about. How can I prevent that from happening again? Right? Silk Teen said, when are we going to stop being victims? Right? This is a very sad story. So I want you to know I'm not going to talk about what was right, what was wrong, who should get arrested. Is it a hate crime? Is it racially motivated? I'm not going to talk about any of that. Y'all can have that dialogue by yourself. Y'all can look up this case and y'all can have that dialogue by yourself. But I'm going to talk about this so that we can analyze the story. This is the story of Devonna Walker. I don't know if you guys have heard of Devonna Walker. She was a 29-year-old woman and a mother of 3. She was stabbed by a man after arguing with a woman who appears to be his woman. I don't know if his wife, girlfriend, does not matter. They live in the same home. That's his woman. This woman was outside with a dog arguing with this woman right here, Devonna Walker. I'm not too sure what they were arguing about. I heard somebody saying, you didn't love her. She didn't want to be with you no more. I hear people online talking about that it was a same-sex love entanglement. I don't know. I can care less. That's none of my business. That ain't going to keep us safe. I'm only here to talk about what is going to keep us safe. Okay? She was outside arguing with this woman for quite some time. Apparently, there's a history between her and this family that she's arguing with, where this family happened to press charges against her for allegedly attacking this woman's man in her house with a metal object. Allegedly. They're outside arguing about this alleged attack. Devonna starts to yell at the woman that she was racist. The woman's denying being racist. Whatever the case is, the racism part is not important in this story. To me, it's not important. For y'all, it is, but it's not important in my story. The guy opens up the door. The guy yells, "Go home or get from around here, you effing N." He calls her a ninja, the derogatory ninja. As Devonna, as the white woman is walking away with her dog, Devonna charges the lady from behind and snuffs her. The lady falls to the ground. The man gets involved and he's hitting Devonna. Devonna starts fighting the man. You see the man's hand comes around the side. At this point, I'm presuming he stabbed her at that point. He jagged her up at that point. The dog is jumping on Devonna, trying to attack Devonna in the video. She walks away from the fight and she collapses in the yard. The woman who was there, I don't know if she was there on behalf of Devonna. I don't know if she was there because she knew about the situation. She was also in the video having a conversation with this heated woman that has the dog. right? That woman now is over Devana's body saying, Devana, get up, get up. Devana, she's not responsive. She's not responsive. The woman then comes out again. The dog runs out the house. The dog is trying to bite at Devana while she's lying in the ground, bleeding out. The woman is saying she's faking. She's just lying there because she's dramatic. She likes a lot of attention. That's not her blood. That's my blood. I'm the one that has the blood. And I didn't have no knife or anything. I'm going to call the cops. The cops had already been called. This woman is bleeding out. No one is turning her over to see her injuries, but they're just telling her to get up. Then the lady who was telling her to get up walks away from somewhere. Then some more people come on. They're looking like there's a lot of blood. The lady is saying, I didn't do anything. That's my blood. She attacked me and she's going to jail. She's going to see how it is. She attacked me. She's going to jail. Her husband is still yelling at her to get into the house. Her husband has been telling this woman to get into the house the whole entire video. He has been telling her behind to get into the house, but she stayed outside, woman. She stayed outside, woman, arguing the whole entire time while her man is telling her to get her behind in the house. This is before anything happened. Before anything happened, this man is telling this woman to get her funky behind inside the house, and this funky ass woman is still popping off with Devana. And then that's when she walks away to go in the house, and Devana hits her from behind. Here's my point here. Now there's a march. Now people are marching, and they want justice. They want justice for Devana. And people are entitled to march and protest. People are entitled to do all of that. I do not take that away from anybody. But in terms of today's class, as we start to end this class with this story, in terms of today's class, when I tell you that aggression and anger has to be managed, it has to be controlled. It has to be managed. When I tell you guys to pay attention when you are the lone wolf, you may think you big and bad, but even a wolf has a hard time going up against a pack when it's on its own. Is it possible? It is possible. It is possible to go up against a pack when you're on your own, but that requires skill. That requires strategy. When you're going into territory and you are by yourself, or you are associating yourself with herd type of people who will scatter when something pops off, people who ain't going to fight for you, people's going to be, ooh, they're going to be all scared. When you are associating yourself with herd type of people, you have to have a strategy before you allow your emotions to take over. That was a pack. Family. That was a pack. I told you how packs operate. This is Sucker Free Sunday, right? Like the channel, subscribe to the channel, like and follow on Facebook, be a part of the conversation. Don't get in your bag, don't get in your feelings. This is about critical thinking. This is not about blaming the victim. This is about us being able to have critical discussion. When you are on your own, and you are going into a pack situation, you have to ask yourself two questions. Do I like my freedom? And do I want to be a victim? I ask you guys to think about those two questions all the time. I ask you guys that all the time. All the time. It's an unfortunate situation. It's an unfortunate tragedy. It should not have happened, but it happened. It happened. And when you look at the heart-wrenching, sad, mental debilitating story, when you look at it and you see this woman charge this woman from behind and start hitting her, and that woman is part of a pack. She got a dog that's in and out the house. She got a man that's in and out the house. She got daughters that was coming in and out the house. And she was out there. Beloved Devana was out there by herself. And nobody was around her. Nobody tried to stop her. Nobody said, sis, it ain't worth it. Nobody did that. No one said, go home to your children. This is a 29-year-old with 3 children. Nobody said, go home to your children. Your children are going to need you. You cannot be out here fighting. You will go to jail. Who's going to take care of your children? Nobody was out there to talk her off of her ledge. Nobody on camera was there. And she went into that den. She went into that pack. And one person in the pack decided to protect his pride. Y'all ain't gonna like it. Y'all ain't gonna like it. You're absolutely right, Queen. Queen said some people think they are safer than what they really are, right? I said that at the beginning when I said that your protective senses are weakened. Remember, I said we are out of order. I told you it was all going to come in full circle. I told you guys that as a community, we are out of order. And our protective senses are weakened because we are not in structure. We are not in hierarchy. We are lone wolves. We have children without protection. We are out of order. And the last thing a person out of order wants to do is go up against somebody who thinks strategically. I'm just trying to tell y'all something. I'm trying to tell y'all something all the time. I always tell you, before you think you big and bad, you got to think about what that person has on their person that you do not have. And even if you have a gun and they have a gun, you better be fast on the trigger, because if not, it is your life at stake. We are out of order, right? This is a conversation that so many people don't want to have. They don't want to have this conversation. Robin says she lacks situational awareness. A lot of people do not want to have these kind of conversations because we want to be hurt, we want to be emotional, we want to be sad, and we are entitled to all those things. I want you to have all your emotions, but I want you to be critical in your thought process. I want you to leave your house every day and understand I am going to be I'm going to be commuting into different packs in different territories. Am I going to be with a pack? Am I going to be on my own? If I am with a pack, does my pack know the communication? Do they know what is called for? Are we organized? Are we strategic? Do we know how to bring down our enemy? Do we know how to neutralize our threats? If you're going to be on your own, you got to be able to answer those same questions. Those same questions. And I don't want y'all to think that it's not human to get upset. It is human, or human, whatever word you want to use. It is human to get upset. It is, because that's what happens. When our amygdala, which is a part of our brain, when it gets activated and we get into flight or fight mode, we're not going to be able to think rationally and critically. But you have to be able to calm yourself down really, really quick. If you have to jump into action to protect your pride, to protect your cubs, or whatever the situation is, you can do that. But you have to also now know your strategy outside of the situation. What do I mean by that? I'll give you guys my truth, and then I'm going. I had a recent situation that happened where, you guys, those who've been with me for a long time, you know I have adult children, and then I have my 9-year-old. And you know, those of you guys that have been with me for a while, I decided to have left my marriage, right? And but don't be fooled. I'm not unarmed, baby. I'm not unarmed. I understand how packs work, and I'm not a lone pack. Right? Y'all who've been with me, especially on Instagram, which is my channel that's all about relationships. Y'all know I have my man in blue. I know y'all don't like the men in blue, and I don't like the men in blue either, to tell you the truth. But I'm not stupid. I'm strategic, and I know how to use my men in blue, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So y'all know my partner is a man in blue. You know, fortunately but unfortunately, my man is a man in blue. I had a situation recently, y'all, where my emotions were triggered because my cub was at risk. He wanted to go out and do things. And those of you guys who are older mothers like I am, sometimes we're tired, right? We're tired and we know we still got this young one and he's the only one home. Daughter's in medical school, son is in college, and the only one is home is the little one. And when my dude is on his shifts, he's on his shifts, and there's nothing I can do about when he's on his shift. So we was on the phone, we was communicating. He said, take him out and do something with him. I said, I'm gonna take him out. I said, I'm gonna take him skating. So I stayed on the phone with him all the way till I got to the skating ring. He said, what he found the skating ring for me because it's all about safety. He told me what skating rings I cannot go to, what skating rings I can go to, and we found one in South Amboy. If you guys are in New Jersey, you know about South Amboy. I want you to start to analyze what kind of community you think I'm walking into in South Amboy, New Jersey. So I know there's going to be a lot of packs. When I go into South Amboy, it's going to be a lot of packs. Ain't going to be no lone wolves. I'm there by myself. I'm a lone wolf with my child, and I'm already on point. I've strategically organized what I'm bringing into the establishment because there are no medical detectives. There's no searching. So I organized what I'm bringing into the facility. I organized that. I already knew what time we was going to have to get up out of here. And I knew that although my son is a new skater, he doesn't know how to skate. And I'm a skater. I just stayed behind him, close proximity, giving him his space to do his own thing because it's just me and him. But I'm watching everybody around me. I'm watching everybody around me. You understand what I'm trying to say? So now we get into a situation. Everything is going good, right? No, I didn't go into the hood. It's not a hood. This is a certain population that has dominated the Amboys, right? And that population of people, they move in packs. Do understand they move in packs. And I already knew that I was already going to be more vulnerable because I'm not in a pack, right? So I'm watching, I'm skating, I'm watching everybody around me. I'm just having my good thing. My phone is in my back pocket. You know, I got some things in my other pocket. I'm good. I'm good money, right? I'm going. So now I see a woman with her son coming across this direction. My son is coming. Let me make sure I can do this. Y'all see that? She's coming across this direction. My son is going this direction. She's trying to get off the skating floor. And I'm right behind my son. She's trying to get off. My son is going forward, and I'm going behind my son going forward. She can't skate a goddamn lick. Her son can't skate a goddamn lick. My son can't skate. Nobody can skate but me. And I'm watching them. I'm watching them, and I'm gonna see how he's gonna handle it. Because I ain't gonna jump on nobody right there. I'm just gonna see how he's gonna handle it. She got all nervous. She almost fell. She almost brought her son down. She managed to get off the floor. Then she decides to turn around, y'all. Here's where the problem comes in at. Here's where the problem comes in at. She decided to turn her funky little behind around and come back to the floor to say something to my son. That's where you messed up at. Because Mama Lion was on that ass, baby, on that ass. And she coming, my son is coming. She come back over there. She comes to say something. Turn my skate around. You got something to say? Just that quick. Now, I'm not thinking at this time. And I don't have a belief system that weakens my protective mode. I don't have it. I'm not turned the other cheek and you can smack me 79 times. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to turn the other cheek for you to smack me 79 times. I'm not going to be at the situation and say, just don't worry about it. Sorry about it. No problem. And just walk away. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of person. You are not going to come at my child. You are not going to come at my child. This is a grown woman who decides to turn around and come back to the floor to say, son, to my 9-year-old. And I was on that ass, on that ass, on that ass. You hear what I'm trying to say? She arguing with me. She going, I'm saying, you still talking? You still talking? She's saying, you talking to me? I said, yeah, that's what I do. I talk, you shut the fuck up. You're not going to say nothing to my child. She getting gangsta. I said, whatever. Let's go stage. I walk away from her. By this time, I make my way to the next exit. I get off, phone come out the pocket. Babe, got a situation. He's up there. He's trying to think about the situation. He said, where's Sage? I told him where my son is at, what he's doing. And he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm just watching. I'm gathering to see how many people are with them. Give me the head count of the people. I told him the head count of the people. He said, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. Sarge, be right back. I count them. I said, I count about 5. He asked for descriptions, gave descriptions. He said, what's the strategy? I said, I'm going to take my skates off just in case. I don't know what the situation is going to be and keep one in hand. One skate will be in hand. They got on rental skates. They got on rental skates. Every last one of them have rented their skates. I got my skates. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Right? Situation. I said, come on, Sage. He said, don't go anywhere till I get there. We leave together. I said, no problem. Sat there. She gathering her little cronies. They didn't say anything else to me. They were looking at me and they see me on the phone. I'm looking at them. They left me alone. They left me alone. Because it wasn't going to be no situation. It wasn't going to be no situation. But I wasn't going to risk it either, number one. Number two, you're not going to attack my child. You're not going to attack my child. Any mama is going to protect their children. And it's just us. And now my child had already gotten bullied by another one of those kind of people from South Amboy on the skating floor. That's what made me start to skate with him. Because one little child, he's standing on the wall. My son don't know how to skate. So my son is holding up the wall. And so he goes around the kid and the kid gets an attitude. And the kid starts threatening my son. What, motherfucker? What? A little kid, part of their little community. You know, they're running packs, part of their little community. And when I saw it, I skated over there real quick. Whoa, what's the problem? What's happened? What happened? Let's go, Sage. Let's go. So I already got my son out of that situation. Now this happens right after that. I'm like, wow, these people are out of control. Out of control. She was this close from grabbing my son. Ooh, we're not going to do that, ma'am. We're not going to do that. Right? We're not going to do that. I saw somebody's comment. I want to respond to this person. You are just the kind of woman to get your husband killed. You're a liar. You're a liar. You are a liar. So your assumption is I got a hothead. That's your assumption. Your assumption is that my man will just run in and start bucking shots. That's your assumption. So you don't know what you're talking about because you're new to my community and you don't know anything about me. You haven't been following my story. So you are just coming here making an assumption. You are making an assumption. So what would you rather, sir or woman, whoever this cupcake is, fruitcake, what would you rather, Fruity? What would you rather? That my child get attacked by an adult? That's what you rather? That's how you protect your cubs? I'm asking you a real question. Is that what you rather, that my child get attacked and I don't stop my child from being attacked? Right? Is that what that's what you want, Fruity Cupcake? Is that what you're saying to me, that my child gets attacked and I do nothing? And I just try to ply people off of my child who's attacking a 9-year-old? See, you don't understand the world you're living in. People will attack your child. People will attack your grandmother. People will attack you. You hear me, Fruity Cupcake? You understand what I'm trying to say? This is not a game. This is not a game. See, this is what I mean when I say belief systems weaken people. This is a person that I would never have as my partner. Because a smart partner has strategy and knows how to get you out of a situation safely. My man has strategy and knows how to get me out of a situation safely. I did what I had to do. Oh, okay. All right. That's why I took the comment off when you told the entire story. Okay, so I forgive you. You're no longer Fruity Cupcake with whipped cream. You are now HRJ. All right? Everyone leave HRJ alone. HRJ corrected oneself. Right? I'm not the one to play with. Right? But what I'm saying to you is strategy. Strategy. You have to know strategy. It was really about making sure I got home safely. I'm not going to sit inside my house with my son when my son is bored and like, oh, we can't go outside because the world is unsafe. The world is unsafe, but you still have to have a strategy. I knew enough to bark, to let people know, oh, you're not going to be on this child. I knew enough to bark, and I knew enough to get my child to safety and then call for backup, just in case. And I knew how to watch, count, organize, snap pictures quickly. Quickly. These things require you to be smart, fast, quick, 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 quick. I'm only asking you all to do that. I'm only asking you all to do that. Be smart and quick. Know your environments. If you arguing with somebody, you got to know when to walk away. You're going to get, sometimes people get into arguments. Arguments are going to happen. It's going to happen, right? Especially given your response to threat, how you respond to threat. Some people run and they flee and they say, oh my God, I'm scared, I'm going to go. That's not always the answer either. Because if you're always, I'm going to run, I ain't going to do nothing, I ain't going to say nothing, you will be bullied. You will be bullied, right? Somebody said, this is a good question, what if there's no one to call for backup? You have to have a strategy before you go anywhere. If you have nobody to call for backup, how are you protecting yourself? How are you protecting yourself? If you have nobody to call for backup when you leave your house, what is your strategy before you leave? Right? What is your strategy before you leave? I'm out minding my business. I had a good time yesterday. A couple of little Black families were there. I made sure I knew where my Black family was. And they were looking to see where I was too. One lady just kept talking to me the whole entire time. My man was like, who's that lady? I said, I don't know. She was talking to me the whole entire time. I was making sure her grandson was safe too, because she's not a skater. She brought her grandson. She wasn't a skater, so she wasn't on the floor. So I just made sure I kept an eye on him too. Because we were like this many people in that environment. We was that many people. You could just count us. 1 Black, 2 Black, 4 Black. You could just count us. We was that many people in that kind of environment. So I just made sure her grandson was safe too. Because dumb people was bullying people. Trust and believe when you go roller skating. Roller skating is another kind of environment. You understand what I'm trying to say? So if you have nobody, you better know a strategy, know in and out. If I didn't have anybody to call, I would have diffused that situation real quick like I did, and I would have got out of there. I would have ended my son's fun. I would have ended his son, and I still would have walked out with one skate in my hand. One would have been in my skate pack, because I bring my own skates. One would have been in my skate pack, and the other one would have been in my hand. Right? Same situation. My point is, I want you guys to think before you leave. Think. Think before you leave. Because it's real out there. We see story after story after story after story. It is real out there. And let me tell you something. Don't ever assume, well, I don't look for problems, so nothing's going to happen to me. I don't look for problems either. Things can happen to you. See, I'm over time. Yeah, I'm over time. Things can happen to you, especially when you are by yourself. Remember, this whole class today was about pack mentality. If you are the loner and you are not in a pack, what do packs do when their prey is alone? It's the best time to attack. People attack for different reasons. People attack for different reasons. I can't tell you why people might attack your behind. I don't know why people might attack you. Right? People attack. Shout out to Super Samster. Thank you. I can't tell you why people are going to attack. But if you by yourself and you come across the wrong pack, you might just be a victim. And that's why you have to know your in and out of any situation as much as you can. You still might be a victim. You still might get attacked. You still might get attacked. You can't control that. But what I'm saying to you all, and I'm out of here, is you have to know your in and out. A wise man once told me, don't ever get yourself in a situation you can't get yourself out of. You have to know your in and out. And if you don't have an out and you have an opportunity to fight, you better fight like your life depends on it. Don't cower. Don't roll over, and don't just take it. Because people are ruthless. People are ruthless. Make sure your pack is in order. Make sure your pack is in order. If you guys are not in order, if you guys are not doing what you need to do in your family units, get in order now. I leave by just reiterating what is important for family units to do, and I'm out of here. Remember, children are the future of your pack, and the leaders of the pack are responsible for taking care of the children. That includes the parents. They're responsible for providing security to the children, safety for the children, supplying the children with their basic needs, supplying each other with basic needs. External threats must be handled with strategy, right? The strongest person is the strategist. Do understand that you may have a leader, but the leader may not be the strongest person. So you have to strategize. Some of us are associated or in relationships with weaker links, right? Maybe your partner does not have a strategy, but you have to know somebody who can help your partner if needed at any time. Moms secure the children. If you leave your children alone, they cannot fend for themselves. If you run into a fight and you are unarmed and you lose your life as a result, you leave your children alone. You leave your children alone. So you have to always think, Mom, I have to secure my children and get them out of a situation because your children are the future of your pack. Older children act as guardians. They are not replacing the mom and dad. They act as guardians to you, the younger members of the pack. But those older children who act as guardians, they must be submissive to their mothers because the mothers are responsible for the children. So they must have order. They must respect rank. Families must have order. That means you must live peacefully among each other. Your members of the pack should not fight one another. That brings division and tension in a pack. That should not happen in your families. If you guys are feuding and you're fighting, you need to go to family therapy and get that ish together because it will weaken your pack and make you subjective to threat. You have to follow a hierarchy. There has to be a hierarchy, and everybody can't be the mother freaking leader in the family. You have to follow a hierarchy. Those who cannot follow rank must leave the pack. If you got disrespectful, unruly members of your family, your adult children, your teenage children to a degree, you should be able to get that under control, but sometimes you cannot. They must leave the pack. I'm just telling you, I know people don't like it. Each obedient member in the pack, they are entitled to protection. Each obedient member is entitled to protection. If you have a rogue member in your family who brings strife, violence, disruption, misunderstanding, chaos, they are not entitled to your protection. You know why? Because they're constantly going to put your family at risk and harm, and you're going to be using all your resources and manpower to protect somebody who does not follow the order. Is that clear? And this is all my opinion. This is how I operate. I don't know how you all operate. I'm just saying that this is something to consider. I'm not saying do what I do. I'm saying consider it. Consider it because your life depends on it. Have a great night, family. Like and subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. If you are on Facebook, make sure you hit the like and follow. Today was Sunday. Sunday is sucker free Sundays. I hope you all are going to remain sucker free.